Web 2 to Web 3 now, the big difference is that Web 3 has not replaced Web 2 yet. It's just so early, and I don't know if necessarily it's going to replace. I think it's more going to be like an extra arm that you could use to do stuff with on the internet.
We back. We black.
Yes, we are black and back. Both East Coast native living in California. He's in LA. I'm in San Diego. Two somethings in a pod.
If you came for serious shit, and if you came to be educated, you came to the wrong fucking place, buddy.
Only on the Dom Jackson Experience. Scooby doo 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 Scooby doo 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 doo.
Scooby Doo. They ain't need Scooby Doo, bro. All this shit going on in the industry, they need Scooby Doo.
Wait, hold on. You know they changed some stuff. Not to go too crazy, but Scooby Doo. They made Shaggy black in like the new Scooby Doos.
Wait, what?
Yeah, there's some things. I know this is not a blockchain topic, but with all the new stuff going on, Shaggy's now going to be black in future Scooby Doo.
Shaggy is black.
So.
Oh wait, you talking about?
Wait, like Scooby Doo Shaggy. It wasn't me.
I thought you talking about it wasn't me. I was like, dog, are you good, bro? That man is black as hell. That's crazy.
This is the best way to start a podcast. that is the best thing I've heard all day.
Wait, there's like is it a live action or is it like a
I think
animation?
it's a cartoon. Like I think from what I saw, both Shaggys are black. Scooby Shaggy and the Shaggy that wasn't me. So whether you're hunting for clues or you get caught cheating, either way there's a black Shaggy involved.
Yeah, that man made a whole career off of a cheating song. That's crazy. It's an anthem.
Oh my God, this is gonna be a great pod. So this is the Two Somethings in the Pod podcast. Your favorite boys on the blockchain, making the blockchain fun for everyone. We're close like two peas in a pod, but we didn't want to be peas, so we chose to be something else. My name is Dom Jackson, founder of Day by Day Media.
And my name is Ozzy McIntosh, co-host of Two Somethings in a Pod. And we back.
We black. Back and black and better than ever. Ozzy, how you feeling? Anything new in the life, in the world?
I mean, we took a little hiatus because I had to make a little move. Still in LA, still loving that LA life, living it, loving it. On my Grizzy. But listen,
man.
Yeah, I was like, I hope he gets the fucking reference. Yes, sir. That was like my MySpace song for like a good amount of time back on my Grizzy.
Wait, was it really?
Yeah, it was. It was for first of all, MySpace, being able to log on to a social media profile and having like your own theme music needs to come back on. Somebody needs to bring that onto a platform. Have a partnership with Spotify or Apple Music, something. Bring that back, because that was like you. That was like a full expression of you. It's like this is who the fuck I am. And for me, my teenage years, I was back on my Grizzy, not doing shit, but I felt like I was back on my Grizzy.
That was a great way. Having your own theme music is amazing. You need to bring that back.
That's that Web 2 life. Speaking of,
that is the Web 2 life all the way, baby, all the way. And we talking about Web 2 versus Web 3, baby.
There it is, Web 2 versus Web 3. So to start, we should probably start with Web 1 or Web 0.0, whatever you want to describe it as. So Web 1 was the most basic version of the internet. Now, did you know that the web or the internet was actually created as part of like a government project? It was not like it wasn't some random like decentralized thing like it is now.
The government made the internet?
The government created a version of the internet, and it became the base layer for the internet that we live in today. How wild is that?
Uncle Sam put the internet together. That's crazy. They made a version of it. That's dope. And that was Web 1. So like AOL and all the original browsers and stuff.
All the original Ash fucking Jeeves, Nets. Yo, I forgot about Ash Jeeves. Yeah, so the original internet was basically for search. That was like the main purpose, was for search and for businesses to connect to their consumers, but not in the way that Web 2 allowed, right? Now for Web 2 was like when all the social media platforms came through. It allowed it was like the web one layer of search, and then but it was also like a linear like platform. So early 2000s, the MySpace, Facebooks, the YouTubes, all of those were Web 2s. Those created what we live in today. We live in Web 2 today. We're not yet in Web 3 full force yet. Web 2 is the reason why businesses can advertise directly to us. Web 2 is the reason why we can connect to somebody across the globe and talk to them. Even if we're talking in different languages, it can convert. You know what I mean? Like that's Web 2. The social part of the internet is Web 2.
Web 2 also is like the more interactive one out of it was more user friendly too. It was more user content generated too, because Web 1 was almost like you talking to like someone talking to you. Web 2 became more like you talking to each other.
Yeah, and you can contribute.
Exactly. Yes, contribute more to the conversation, to the content, which is like a big thing to make Web 2.
Yes. It gave people a sense of ownership. But as people started to realize, even like celebrities and influencers started to realize that at any moment, if the platform didn't like what you were doing, or if the platform just decided to change a certain policy, you really didn't have a say as to whether or not they could change it or not. Like even if you're a shareholder, like it didn't matter. Like we're gonna change this. You have no say in what could happen. Web 3, the idea of Web 3, as far as the social part is concerned, would give ownership to the people. That's like the grand plan, and hopefully it plays out that way. So far, we haven't seen it yet, right?
Yeah, we haven't. The also all the Web 1s, 2, and 3s are also they're also their own. They're more like, there's not like a direct definition as far as what they are. They're more like concepts that people attach certain things later the internet onto. So you're going to get different definitions, but they all fit in their own level of vicinity of where they're going to get you, where you're going to get information from. But Web3 is definitely the one that's more towards ownership and decentralization as a whole, as its own thing. So what's interesting, I learned that too. I was like, oh yeah, so like there isn't just like, it's not like this like web, like you can look up Web3, but it's still not like, it's
vague.
It's very vague. It's very vague. It's more like the brand of it all, as opposed to being like, it's a direct store.
Yeah, exactly. And Web 2 built on top of Web 1 and basically replaced Web 1. Like nobody interacts on the internet like they did when it was back then. There's no reason to. There's not even a way to do that. Web 2 to Web 3 now, the big difference is that Web 3 has not replaced Web 2 yet. It's just so early, and I don't know if necessarily it's going to replace. I think it's more going to be like an extra arm that you could use to do stuff with on the internet.
Yeah, it's gonna be the layer 2 that we're waiting for. It's like the
yeah.
I think I'm very excited to see what Web3 does because of things we talked about before about the blockchain and how people can, just the decentralization of things and being able to do things and track the ownership of how you can buy, sell, trade with things online without having to worry about it being put through like the censorship of the government or the centralized organization. Whoever the king of the time is won't be as apparent, because the blockchain is more about the people who have the powers in the hands of the people that are actually using it, which is just like the coolest concept of the internet, especially how way things are now. This
Now, I'm going to play devil's advocate, even though I may not necessarily agree with what I'm about to say. Is so the major thing in this whole decentralized world, this whole decentralized internet, is that word decentralization, which means without centralization. And centralization, as we said before, is one body or one small group of bodies or people owning something. My devil's advocate comment or opinion is that there are more and more centralized organizations jumping on the boat of Web3, and the more of those organizations, big organizations that hop onto decentralization, doesn't that make the platform centralized, and doesn't that defeat the purpose of decentralization?
From my perspective, because more centralized entities are going on there, you would think it would defeat the purpose. and we'll see how it plays out. But for what I'm thinking from right now, because even if centralized organizations go on there, there's always a level of adaptation that you have to come into to do the place correctly. Because there's still more people that are uncentralized than centralized. Like there's always more customers than there's actual company. And
I got it. Yep.
Web3 as a whole does fit that model of where it's building. It's like, the power is in the hands of the more of the mass. So even if a centralized company does come in, it'll play out better that way because they'll be more influence from those people that from the people as a whole. For instance, there was a lot of companies that came into Web3 and made NFTs that were like big brands, and they didn't execute it properly, and their product didn't sell the way it would have sold compared to someone else who was not nearly as big but understood Web3 better. So I think as a whole, as long as you execute the right way and understand the culture of how things are done on that particular system of the blockchain or whatever system it's on, you won't have to worry about it. You won't have to worry about centralized, the bad parts of centralization messing up all the good things of Web3, because it'll counterbalance itself because there's more power in Web3 with the people themselves.
Got it. So yes. So maybe the major thing is that the people, it's almost like, well, let me not get too much into history, but it's almost like a if there was like a dictator and like a small army versus a big ass fucking country that is that's under that dictator. They don't realize yet that they have the power, and I think it's the same thing with human like us. And there's plenty of people that don't know that Web3 exists, and even the people that know that Web3 exists don't fully either yet believe in the power that it has to not overthrow centralized entities, but just to make their lives better and not have to depend as much on centralized entities. It hasn't happened yet, right? Like it just hasn't happened yet. So we're watching it unfold, watching a lot of bad stuff unfold, watching a lot of good stuff unfold in real time, but it's just like the beginning of the story, the very, very beginning. Glad to be here though, to be able to report and give our insight on it in the early stages for sure. All right, so we have Web3 tweets. Yes.
We're just gonna add
what
that
are
sound
those?
effect in. Fuck it.
I know. I might just put your voice in. I might just have you record that one time. Just what are Web3 tweets? Interesting tweets about the blockchain, the Web3 world, and what people are doing on them. Interesting things that are happening. So, all right. Our first tweet comes from Binance, straight from the Binance account.
Binance.
With Web3 on the horizon, we thought you might want to learn a little bit more about its core concepts. Here are the most important aspects of Web 3.0 future. Those aspects are artificial intelligence, visual immersion, semantic web, the permissionless blockchain, and secure ubiquitous data. Very interesting tweet to come from such a massive company that is slightly tied up in stuff that's going on right now in the blockchain. That's a great one. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about them saying Web3 on the horizon and not with Web3? You know what I mean? Like they're saying it's a future thing.
Web3 on horizon. That's how do you feel about that?
Yeah, and they're a Web3 company. You know?
Yeah,
which is crazy.
I mean, it's definitely still on the horizon though. Even with the amount of people that buy crypto now or buy NFTs now or even know what we're even talking about, it's still like definitely more on the horizon than anything else. Because like if you walk down the street, like if you ask 10 people what they know about cryptocurrency, they might say like, what Bitcoin or something, like, you know what I mean? It's not like, it's not even nearly as mass
Bitcoin's
as it would be.
Yeah.
That's about the extent of most people's knowledge.
No, that's true, and it goes back to what we were saying earlier. Is that it's just not here yet. Like it's on its way. It exists, but it's not here. Does that make sense? Like it's on the road. It exists. Like if you were to go somewhere, if you're gonna travel from Jersey to California, which you actually fucking did
I have.
in a car. You didn't exist in California yet, but you were on the road.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Hey, that's a great metaphor.
So
you're on the road.
Yeah, man. You're on the fucking road, a fucking cross country, cross world tour, and you're not there yet. But you know where you're going, or at least you have a general idea of where you want it to go. And I think it's similar to Web3 right now. Everybody has their input as to where they want it to go, and I think ultimately the market will decide what makes sense, and the market is everybody involved, everybody, including the companies.
Yes.
The market will decide what makes sense to put in Web3 and what makes sense to just stay in Web2 and not fuck with it.
Exactly. Not fuck with it, indeed. Fun fact, my grandma actually asked me about Bitcoin one time, and I was like, wow, I didn't think Bitcoin got this far.
Whoa.
I was like, she's like, yeah, I don't really understand this crypto Bitcoin stuff. Like, what is this? And I was like,
How old is she, if you don't mind me asking?
she is 70. I don't know if she wants to on the platform, but oh well. Maybe like over.
That's what I said.
She's
What age bracket she?
I mean, it's definitely over 70. So I think I can say that.
That's good enough.
I think I can say that without being.
That's fine. We'll ask her before we put it. Yeah, that's crazy. Nah, people. Yeah, the age thing. You gotta be careful for sure. But that's great because that's a few generations above us, which lets you know that if it's going up there, then that means that it has some type of somehow it got to her, right? I'm sure. Is she on like Facebook? Is she on like a certain type of platform where she might like? How did she find out about that?
I think she found out about it on the news because it was definitely like when crypto was going more down. So she was like, "What is this stuff? Like, I don't even know what this is." She assumed that the young kids knew about it, and little did she know, the whole podcast she could learn about on and on.
little did she know her grandson has a podcast about it. That's crazy. That's crazy, man. Damn, I did not know that. Good. Well, at least, hey, maybe we'll make some more content just for her.
Hey,
just specifically
That's
for her.
how we could do it. 2022, 2023. But wait, back to the tweet though.
Yes,
the tweet. AI is also added into Web3 that we didn't talk about earlier. But that's another big part of Web3 that I saw on the internet.
Yeah, but so artificial intelligence. I'm not exactly sure where it plays like a major part. I know that the executable contracts it's not really artificial intelligence. I would say artificial intelligence is still going to be. It's first of all, it's such a buzzword. It's a buzzword in Web 2. So like when you think of artificial intelligence, what's the first thing that may come to your mind? Like right now, just think of it. And there's no right or wrong answer, but what's
robots
like the first thing
doing
that comes
stuff by themselves? Robots being people.
Okay, cool. So we have like that, and then like a good example of like artificial intelligence and machine learning, which aren't necessarily the same exact thing, but like Siri, like they fed Siri a lot of information, and now when you ask Siri, who is a robot, certain things, she can answer you. She's artificial. She's not real.
Siri's real.
At least not yet.
Hearts.
Siri is real. She might hear me. She might fuck my phone up.
Might.
Let me stop. You're real.
Ozzy, you're an op.
Dude, that's wait. Siri calling me an op in the middle of the night when I'm sleeping. Yo, that's crazy. Dude, did you hear about this? This is kind of a sidebar, but it's still related to artificial intelligence. Some Google worker came out against Google saying that a project that they're working on, basically like the robot or the computer, the artificial intelligence, has become aware.
I did see an article about that. It became like pretty sentient.
Yeah, sentient. That's the word. There we go. I didn't want to drop the big words on them. Also, I forgot what the word was. So, yeah. So we'll see about that. So yeah, with that now transferring into Web3, I don't know how that is going to form, how that's going to transition, what part artificial intelligence plays, but maybe we'll get somebody on the show that knows a little bit more about that.
Yeah.
And we'll not pretend like we know what the fuck we're talking about when it comes to that shit.
Yeah, that's above my grade at this moment in time. I do want to say though, when the robots or the sentient being or the AI, whatever the term is, when they get to like their point when they're like really doing shit, we'll be old as hell by then, hopefully. But there's gonna be a different world out there when they're
hopefully.
like, I mean, Siri's already answering math problems that I don't know how to answer. So it's like,
yeah, they're smarter than us, bro. The funny part is that when it comes to the robots and artificial intelligence and all this, and everybody being afraid, it is humans programming these things.
It is.
These things aren't programming themselves. And once they start programming themselves, then we could worry. Then we could scurry, run for the hills, grab whatever arms you got, go in the bunker. Hope you got rations, unperishable foods.
For real.
Like, yeah, because that'll be scary. But in the meantime, or maybe maybe that's when people will actually go into virtual reality. They'll be in their little bunkers with their headsets on, and they'll be living inside of the metaverse, the real metaverse, whatever that looks like.
Is the real metaverse a real metaverse, or is it a metaverse? You see what I'm saying? Like, is it real if it's real?
I think it's a meta. I think it's. Is it real if it's real?
What's really real?
That is what's really real. Well, I think and this probably might be another episode, but the metaverse is going to be a combination of a lot of verses, right? The real universe, the internet verse, and maybe just you walking around being able to see stuff pop up in your glasses or whatever.
Yeah.
Metaverse is going to be a combination of things, right? Okay, our next tweet comes from Param_ETH. And in this, for the people that cannot see, in this image, it says the transition of Web 2 apps to Web 3D apps. I will not go through all of the comparisons, but basically it's just it's a very clear comparison of our current Web 2 apps, you know, the internet that we live on today, the Twitters, the Chromes, the Spotifys, YouTubes, Facebooks. And then it has a arrow going to what the comparison would be of that app in the Web 3 world. So, for example, for Twitter, there is a comparable app in Web 3, which we call decentralized apps, called Lens, right? For Chrome, it's the Brave browser. For Spotify, it's Audius. For Facebook, it's District. For Dropbox, it's Filecoin, which I've actually seen be used actually in the real life world, which is cool. Yeah. And then for PayPal, Trust Wallet. PayPal could be compared to a lot of different Web3 wallets, but it's an example of what's actually going on today. And I don't like the word transition, because I don't think there's going to be a necessarily transition from Web 2 to Web 3, but it's a comparison of what exists today and how you could use Web 3 for your benefit if for whatever reason you don't like or like the current apps that exist today, or if it literally just doesn't work for you because of where you're at in the world, which is another thing. Geographic. That's one thing I feel like we haven't touched on, is the geographic bounds of Web 3 are basically there is no bounds. There is no bounds. Now, there's companies that want to outlaw. Yeah, there's companies that want to outlaw certain, you know, like wallets, or they want to outlaw like cryptocurrency in general. That's one thing. But the whole idea of outlawing blockchain is not possible. It's just not possible. It's not gonna work. You know what I mean? And that's crazy. Around the world, like there's no way to do it. which is kind of crazy. Could be good, could be bad. Yeah. Point being is that there are a lot of people in the world that don't have access to like what we consider basic apps, that have sprung out of Silicon Valley and around the world, are going to be able to use these Web3 apps in different ways to better their life and create their own businesses, whether those businesses live in Web 2 or Web 3 or whatever. But it's just another layer of opportunity, and that's how I look at Web 3. It's a layer of opportunity for everybody, right?
For everybody. Are the companies that are listed, are they decentralized companies? Or are they still centralized at this point?
I guess you would consider them decentralized companies, platforms, yes. So like Lens is a decentralized version of Twitter. Brave is a decentralized version of Chrome.
Good.
But again, it's not. They still live in Web 2 world. Now the interesting thing about the Brave browser is that that with that browser you can use like ENS domains, so like blockchain domains. So for example, OzzyMcIntosh.eth. Which is a real website because I bought it like not too long ago, lives on the blockchain, right? And I can't access that from Chrome. I can't type that into Chrome. Nothing will happen. It'll give me some type of error. But with the Brave browser, I can actually make a decentralized like Web3 website that looks just like a Web 2 website. But not only that, I could use that same domain as like my wallet address, so you could send me money to OzzyMcIntosh.eth. Not yet because it's not set up. Or I could also use it. You know what I mean? I could use it as like my handle. So it becomes like this basically handle it becomes like this identity for the entire Web3 world, and it transfers from app to app. That doesn't exist. Back to Web 2 versus Web 3. That doesn't exist in the Web 2 world. I can't take my pictures from Instagram if Instagram decided to shut me down and just like and all the comments and all the people. I can't just bring all those people over to my other platform, right? Like there's no way to port them over. With Web3, that functionality like exists just by nature, you know. So that's fucking cool.
That's amazing. That's the dope content to be able to transfer it over like that. That's just Web 2 versus Web 3.
Yeah,
baby.
exactly, man. That's the true ownership part, right?
It is.
Yeah.
And speaking of true ownership,
All right.
you can own your way to following us to more information by hitting that subscribe button right now.
Smooth.
You can hit a subscribe. Like I
Yes.
said, it's the Two Somethings in the Pod podcast. You can follow me at Dom Jackson 747.
You can follow me at Ozzy McIntosh JR. Like, comment, subscribe.
Yes.
We got something for you guys. If you have a question about Web 2 versus Web 3, please leave a comment below and we'll get on it. We'll either make a video about it or respond to it. We'll do something. But I think it's a good way for us to get more interaction from you guys and for us to be of a great value to you as our audience.
Absolutely.
You're-
We'll definitely do something. And take care.